NASA's plan is to build a base on the Moon before sending humans to Mars so that the process of reaching Mars becomes shorter. SpaceX founder Elon Musk wants to name the race to Mars as his own. In addition, European and Russian space agencies also talk about sending humans to Mars. But how will humans live there after landing in the harsh atmosphere of Mars? Because oxygen is not available on Mars, which is very important for humans. What is NASA's way of producing oxygen on Mars? And how does the International Space Station produce oxygen? Why won't that method work on Mars? Hello friends, you are watching Fact Galaxy, where we bring you real and heart-touching stories. If you enjoy this story, don't forget to subscribe our channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss a new story. Viewers, there are many reasons behind humans' desire to live on Mars. There is a factor of scientific exploration and space curiosity, but there is also a compulsion or fear among these desires. That is, the generation of humans may not end due to a disaster on Earth. Like 6.5 billion years ago, the extinction of dinosaurs from our world. And there is also such a possibility that we are seeing an example of climate change on Earth. This is probably the biggest reason that at some point in time, there will be a Neil Armstrong of Mars. On the one hand, Elon Musk first intended to colonize Mars in 2026, but now a prediction of 2029 has been made on his part. On the other hand, NASA has also intended to land humans on Mars by 2030. But the question is not who will go to Mars first, the question is how humans will be able to live after going to Mars. Undoubtedly, many properties of Mars are similar to Earth. Like one day of Mars, which is also called Martian Day or Sol, its length is only 39 minutes longer than the day of Earth. There are different seasons there and on Earth too. In addition, there are ice caps on the poles of Earth and on the poles of Mars. There is also an atmosphere on Earth, although thin on Mars, but there is an atmosphere. But one thing that is not enough for humans to live on Mars is oxygen. So how will this oxygen gas be made on Mars? That too not for a few people, but to keep an entire colony of Mars inhabited. When it comes to keeping humans alive in an extreme situation, the first thought comes to mind is the ISS International Space Station. Today, 25 years have passed in the harsh conditions of space, and it has continued to provide oxygen and fresh water to humans. 4 to 5 astronauts are present at the International Space Station at all times, whose daily water requirement is at least 45 liters, 1,350 liters per month, and 16,200 liters per year. In addition to this, 1,000 kg of oxygen gas is used annually on the ISS. How is so much water and oxygen made in space 400 km away from Earth? 2 systems are installed in the ISS for this work. One is Water Reclamation System WRS, and the other is Oxygen Generation System OGS. Why can't we install these 2 systems on Mars? To understand this, we first have to know how this system works. The Water Reclamation System collects water from human waste, urine, sweat, and humidity, and then cleans it and makes it drinkable again. Astronaut Douglas V. Locke said on one occasion that our coffee of last day makes the coffee of the next day. The WRS system purifies the existing water in the ISS, makes it usable again. And in this way, 98% of water is saved from being wasted. Next to it is the Oxygen Generation System. This system takes a little water from the WRS and then makes it oxygen to breathe through a special process. We studied this simple process in Class 5, which is called electrolysis. Electrical current is passed through water, which turns water into oxygen gas and hydrogen gas. Oxygen gas is used to breathe, but hydrogen is a very dangerous and inflammable gas which can burn the entire ISS in seconds and make a fireball. This hydrogen gas is not wasted, but it is put in another system, which is called the Sabatier system. This system collects the waste carbon dioxide of the astronauts present in the ISS, mixes it with hydrogen gas, and makes water, methane gas, and a little heat from it. The water is reused, the heat is put in the heat management system, but the methane gas, which has a lot of importance on the Earth, is removed from the ISS into space. Methane gas, which is also a kind of fuel, can also produce energy and heat, but it is wasted because it needs oxygen to burn it, and there is only oxygen on the ISS, which is the most important. If you look at the entire oxygen and water process of the ISS, then it depends on refueling missions, because it is 98% efficient, but still there are losses and leakages in every system. That is why water and oxygen are brought from the ground every 6 months or after a year and put in the ISS. These refueling missions are very costly, in which the cost of delivering just 1 liter of water to the ISS above 400 km is more than $2,500. Therefore, making oxygen on Mars at a distance of 225 million kilometers is not cost-effective in any way. For this, a system will have to be created that uses the resources on Mars and makes oxygen from it. In 2021, NASA's Perseverance rover was sent to Mars, in which a device was installed for this experiment, which has been named the MOXIE, Mars Oxygen In Situ Experiment. Because in the ISS, the source of water is refueling, but to find water on Mars, you will have to go to its polar caps or drill several feet below to remove the ice. This is why MOXIE uses carbon dioxide from the atmosphere of Mars to make oxygen from it. In simple words, 95% carbon dioxide is present in the atmosphere of Mars. MOXIE pumps carbon dioxide from the outside atmosphere and pressurizes it, and then puts it in an electrolyzer and heats it to a temperature of 800 degrees Celsius, which separates the oxygen gas from the carbon dioxide. This electrolyzer is made of gold, because gold is an excellent heat conductor, which protects other parts of Perseverance from heat. In this process, carbon dioxide produces not only oxygen gas but also carbon monoxide. The disadvantage of this is that if the carbon is completely separated in this process, it can also make a layer of carbon, as seen below the cooking pan. And this layer will not delay in damaging Perseverance. This is why this process is performed very carefully. But how much oxygen does MOXIE produce on Mars at a time? In this process, MOXIE needs a lot of energy, which is why NASA sometimes runs it when energy is saved from the solar panels. So far, it has only produced 122 grams of oxygen, which can keep a person alive for only 3.5 hours. If more oxygen has to be produced on Mars through this system, then a large version of MOXIE would be required for it, and a large power plant to run it. And this is the biggest challenge so far. Now, the thing to understand here is that MOXIE first compresses carbon dioxide with the help of a compressor, then heats it to 800 degrees Celsius. A lot of energy is required for both these processes. For the solution to this problem, scientists are working on a future technology in which carbon dioxide molecules can be broken at low temperatures. In this, carbon dioxide will not be heated, but by generating vibrations in it, the oxygen molecule will be separated from it. Currently, this technology has been tested in the lab, but due to Earth's high atmospheric pressure and temperature, it is not possible to do this experiment on Earth. But the atmosphere of Mars is perfect for this task. Whatever the technology, our target is that we have to use such a thing on Mars to make oxygen, which is present there. And the device that will make this oxygen, its dependency should not be on Earth, because ISS is only 400 km away from Earth. If the oxygen generation system there is damaged, then sending astronauts back to Earth is not such a big deal. They can wear their emergency suits and wait for a few hours for refueling, and can also go back to Earth. But if there is a problem with the oxygen generation machine after colonization on Mars, then there will be no option for refueling and it will not be so easy to go back to Earth. Once again, I request you to subscribe to the channel and share the video with other people so that the reach of our channel increases and we get the motivation to make more such videos. See you in the next video with another interesting topic. Take care of yourself.